internet strangers? We're here to talk about this Vevor, I don't know how you say it, cold roll laminator. I got the 25-inch one. I learned about this as a potential solution for buying like a really expensive slab roller through your traditional clay equipment manufacturers. The cheapest ones tend to be $300+, which I just cannot afford. Or do I have the space in my studio? This is a little 10 by 10 area that I work in. I bought this because I heard that it was a good solution, and it turned out to be a pretty good option for myself, but it's a little tricky to figure out how to best use it. So I'm going to share my tips and tricks for using this, just to get the I don't know, the YouTube rules of sponsorship, affiliation stuff out of the way. I don't exactly know how that all works yet, because if you look at my channel, this is literally my second long form video. But I contacted Vevor and I said, hey, I have 30 whole subscribers on YouTube. I don't expect you to sponsor me or anything like that, just because, you know, I don't have much reach right now. But I did ask if I could have an affiliate link for this, so that if you watch this, you decided this was a good idea for you, you could use the link and I could get a little bit of money from it. I'm not saying you have to use it. It would be nice if you did. Up to you. This is available through some other distributors and things, but I got mine directly from Vevor. There's all different sizes. I'm going to put my affiliate link down below, and then I believe they also gave me a coupon code that you can use as well. So let's talk about how this thing comes. I'm kind of afraid to buy new things that are large and might require assembly, because I'm pretty allergic to reading directions, / I cry half the time I have to assemble something with more than a few steps. If you are like me, do not worry. This thing came mostly assembled in the box. It came folded up, rollers attached, everything's great. The only thing that you have to attach is, I think, this little wheel attachment part. I know the handle I had to screw in, but honestly, it's been a little bit over a month since I bought this. I don't quite remember, but it was really easy, and I didn't really have explicit instructions included in the box anyway. I was able to figure it out. So I have faith that you can figure it out too. Let's see, what was I going to talk about next? So yeah, it comes pretty much assembled how you need it, except for that little handle. To use this is just the way I have found to work best for me. I'm sure there are other like tips out there and stuff where it might work better for you or your clay or whatever. But what you are going to need is something firm, flat, thin. And you're going to need canvas to cover your bottom board. I've cut it down so that the width is the same width as my board rolling through. If there's too much excess material off the sides, it can get caught up in the roller and give you uneven slabs, so I recommend not doing that. And then the other thing is some clips to hold your canvas on the board. Things bunch up a bit when you're rolling it. This helps a little bit with keeping things in place. I haven't really gotten it down to an exact science yet of how to clip it exactly where, how tight, how many clips. So that's something that you can play with. All right, so let's talk about cutting a piece of clay off a block and actually rolling with the slab roller thing. All right, step one for getting this thing going. We need to get a chunk of clay for us. I have never used like one of your traditional pottery slab rollers before, but at my job at a pottery studio, sometimes I get to be a fly on the wall, and one of the instructors there was doing a slab rolling hand building demo and using one of those traditional ones. And he said when you are getting your clay slab, you want it to be less than an inch thick to be rolling through your slab roller, because there's potential to cause damage to the slab roller. So this thing, this cold laminator I have, it is not meant for clay use. I'm going to be very careful with it. When I went to the website and looked at this thing and the ratings on it, there are some people leaving ratings for this as a clay slab roller and giving it less than 5 stars. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm just a little mind boggled that you're giving a cold roll laminator a less than 5-star rating when you are not using it for that purpose. All right, I got my slab here. I just cut it off the block. I wouldn't say that's really less than 1 inch, but if you haven't made the best cut, don't worry about it. This does give a good even roll. You just have to work it through a little bit. So since it's not quite where I want it, I'm gonna just throw it a couple times. Forgive my wobbly card table. I'm in a low budget kind of situation here. All right. Honestly, I need to take this to the floor because it's not really getting any thinner. Okay, for the purpose of this video, assume I've done it to less than 1 inch evenly all around. All right. Next step. I'm putting down my wings. I don't know if that's what they're called. On my roller. And I am getting my thin flat board with my canvas on top ready. I'm putting my clay kind of in the top middle of my board. I'm putting my clay kind of towards the middle. I want to give it room to stretch. And my clips I have on the canvas here just kind of help it stay in place. I'm not going to roll this completely all the way through because my slab is smaller. I need a second piece of canvas to cover up my clay slab. And I need to make sure that I've got the skinny side going through so that I don't have canvas getting caught in the roller. All right, so I've tucked the baby in. And she's ready to roll through, but let's make sure that the slab roller is ready to roll through. Changing angles. Ugh. All right, good view? Yeah, mostly. Let's just do it. So through here, I'm not worried about it being precisely level at the thickness I want because right now my slab is, roughly over 1 inch thick right now. So to raise up the rollers, you raise it on one side, turn the knob, raise it on the other side, and to me it looks like it's about the thickness of my slab right now. So what I'm going for really is making the opening wide enough to start stretching my clay out a little bit, but not so skinny that I'm struggling to go through. All right, so how I know is if I'm trying to get that clay through and it's just stopping, but I can roll it with not too much effort, that's a good place for me to start. So you'll notice I'm just using my hand to turn the top roller. Usually I'd be at the other end grabbing that handle and turning it that way, but I'm not requiring a whole lot of torque, so I can just do it with my hand. We made our first pass. I'm going to uncover my clay by lifting up that top canvas, and I'm going to give it a turn. I'm trying to get a generally square shaped slab for this project I'm doing, so I'm going to turn it, put it back down. Ooh, okay. Maybe put your board flat back down on the table. That was a little questionable. All right, tuck the baby back in. Make sure that your canvas is as unwrinkled as possible so that doesn't show up on your slab later. All right, I'm gonna get my board, get ready to pass it through again. When you're going in, make sure you get it straight on or you end up with a little dent in the edge of your slab. It's not fun. All right, make another pass through. I'm getting a little resistance, so I did need to pass my slab through in the other direction. All right, great. Coming back through. Lifting it up. Looking like a beautiful slab so far. Although she do be a little thick with 2 C's right now. Nowhere near my goal thickness. So I'm going to turn that knob like 3 times on both sides. My adjusters. I'm going to cover it back up. Rinse and repeat. All right, get it up. Make sure my canvas is through and as pretty as I can make it. Gonna get to the roller, meeting a little resistance, perfect. Rolling it through. This is a little harder this time. Maybe I could have stood to have the opening a little bit wider, but still, I can still roll it with my hand on the top. I don't think it's too bad. We just want to be careful with this because, as I said before, this is not meant for clay. It's meant for laminating poster boards and things like that. And we just don't want to be too rough on this. It seems very sturdily constructed. And I think that it's probably going to be just fine for this. But I don't want to chance it. I do not have budget to buy a new one. All right, flipped it. Canvas down. The canvas is bunching up. I just reach around and pull it under the roller to get ready for my next roll. Smooth it out. Make sure we're getting it straight. Little resistance. Perfect. Roll it through. Rather than go through the make it skinnier, pass it through, uncover, recover, you're going to get a little time lapse right now. What we'll do is when we get close to the thickness we want, that's when we're going to worry about things being level and the correct thickness that we want. I've been rolling back and forth. I think about a 1/4 inch right now, and I want it just a little bit thinner than a 1/4 inch. So now is the time where I'm caring about this roller being level on both sides. So what I'm going to do is find something that is the thickness that I want, and I'm going to put it between the rollers to make sure I've got that thickness that I want. And then I'm going to get ready to make my final passes. So some people, I imagine if you're watching this video, maybe you've done this. Some people get those like long wooden, like they're not paint sticks, just long, skinny of different thicknesses. And they use a roller to get the thickness and everything. You could put those on either side of your slab and run it through. That's the most simple solution, but I didn't feel like going to the store and trying to figure out what those things were or asking the internet like a normal person. We're going to find something. I'm having a hard time coming with how to explain this. What we're going to do is cover our clay up, right? We're going to just put the tip of the board through. No clay yet. Get that canvas a little more even. All right, have the board in there. I'm going to take something that is the thickness that I want. I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch or a little less for my project. So I'm going to take it and put it right here in between. It's a little tight, but I do want it to be a little bit less than a 1/4 inch. If I try to roll it, it will go through. It's a little tight, but I think that's going to be perfect for me. So this is where we want it to be. And what I'm going to do is get my level, this little thingy. I'm going to put it in the middle of this roller, and I'm going to see where my air bubble is. It is a little bit off center, so I'm just going to adjust until it gets in the middle. Okay. Perfect. I now know I'm even. I'm ready to make another pass through here. Let's do it. Okay. Final rolls, baby. Okay, once through. Ooh. Looking great, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna flip it to get the other direction going. I don't know if it's really necessary to flip it, but the way I'm cutting for my project, I'd like for this to stretch out a little bit more in this direction. All right, cover it back up. All right, bring it up. Get ready to pull it through. At this point, the canvas does tend to get caught a little bit more, but you just pull it through before you get your clay under the roller. Okay, there we go. Sure we're not wrinkly on the roll. Okay, I think probably good enough. All right, last pass. All right, let's see how she's looking. Look at that beautiful baby. Sorry about all the camera moving around. Okay, you can see it. We're doing great. Maybe later on I can cut this and show it to you that it's even all the way through, but or you can take my word for it. I've used this a few times. If you go through the roller little by little, you turn your clay, and you make a few passes through at the same thickness and you're not getting any resistance, I'm confident that your slab is nice and even all the way through. So we're just gonna let this baby firm up and I'll get going with my next project on this. Thank you for watching my video. And if you end up buying this, please use my affiliate link. That would be great. If you don't, though, you find it cheaper somewhere else, I certainly understand. But anyways, happy potting. I'll see you next time. Bye.